Kia ora everybody. Just want to let you know that this latest podcast with Taranaki Retreat is a little bit of a tough one. Before we begin, I just want you to note that this conversation includes mention of suicide and distress, so please step away if you need to while you're listening. Taranaki Retreat is for anyone in New Zealand who is going through a tough time. That includes those experiencing crisis, suicidal thoughts, grief, or mental distress. We'll provide all the links you need to reach out, and please do reach out. Someone is there to help you. Hey, and welcome to Lemon Drops, brought to you by the Smoky Lemon crew. Well, we're talking branding, marketing, and everything in between. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's drop in. Kia ora, and welcome back to Lemon Drops. And just a little warning that this episode, it could be a little bit heavy because we're going to be talking with Jamie Allen, co-founder of Taranaki Retreat. So it's just a warning, just to please take care while you're listening. So Jamie, a real pleasure to have you in our podcast room.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Thank you for having me.
Ngā mihi nui, yeah.
E mihi ana kia koe, kia koutou. Aye, what a privilege.
Yeah, I know. So the whole idea today is, Taranaki Retreat has been around for a wee while now. It's been an incredible help for a lot of people. In my past work, we've worked together before, so it's nice to get you on this platform and
Thank you.
talk about your mahi.
What a privilege. Thank you.
So I guess we start right at the beginning, Jamie, and what. So you and your wife Susie started and founded Taranaki Retreat. So what inspired you to do that and step into that kind of work?
It was a combination of factors. Partly it was some personal grief that we were going through at the time, which really kind of changed our compass a bit, I suppose. We were going through a real personal, massive grief loss situation with which had happened to us, and that just made us reflect on some experiences we'd had through that. In particular, we'd had quite a lot of contact with and stays of Ronald McDonald House.
Right, yep.
And that was just the most incredible experience, in the middle of a situation which for us was just massive and all-encompassing and really painful. There was this refuge set up for you to be in, like this safe space. And there were some really cool things about the environment that we totally loved. First, that it was there, that someone had thought of it and gone, hey, we're going to provide this. And then second, it was free. It wasn't like, oh, you're staying here and the bill's ticking over every day by a bit more, because we couldn't have managed that. And so it was mind-blowing. They were just like, kia ora, here's your room, settle in. We know you're going through a tough time. Here's the fridge, here's the kai, here's the other people in a similar situation.
And your other children were welcome to be there as well? Yeah.
Absolutely. So there was all that contact with other people in a similar situation where you could, firstly, you could just get past all the dross that you don't want to have in conversations. And secondly, you could grow from other people's experience.
Because you're all walking similar paths.
Totally. So it was kind of like a classic peer support environment, informally. And so we really gained from being there and reflected that places like that were really crucial when you're going through tough times. And I wanted to bring some of that magic to Taranaki with a focus particularly around where there were support needs for mental and situational well-being. That for us was very much around the physical health of our child, but we wanted this support in Taranaki to be especially around where perhaps that support was needed because of tough times in the environment. And then that all was coupled up with a lot of funeral celebrancy that I was doing at the time, and a bunch of those funerals tragically were suicide bereavements. So meeting with whānau and just listening to the stories that had preceded suddenly me arriving in their lives and viewing the devastation, and just hearing so often people would say, oh, things were going not so well, and there was just nowhere to turn to. We couldn't find somewhere to turn to. And, you hear that a few times and go, I'll point the finger in this direction, or there should be more of this. But anyway, eventually you get to the point of going, this is a community accountability issue. If as a community we want to protect and support people in those really difficult times, that's on all of us, not on somebody else. So that was really the impetus, and then we formed up a concept, look at other models that were offering similar sort of concepts, residential support and so on, and learned a lot, stole the best bits from those models, and from the Ronald McDonald House situation, reflected on all that. Put a call out for other people who had a similar passion, gathered a bunch of really, I guess, positioned people who all came with that lived experience perspective, who were putting up their hands and saying, oh yeah, this has been my experience, and I'd love to build something that would help. So early on, everyone involved was just going, hey, I want to make this better for the next people.
Great.
And I want to use my experience to build something really cool. So nowadays we call that co-design and co-production. We didn't kind of have those buzzwords for it back then, and we didn't do that on purpose. It just kind of happened.
What year did it get underway?
So we found the plot of land for it, which was on Hereford Road in Ormata in 2014.
Right.
So that was when the trust launched, and we began constructing on that paddock and making this refuge there.
Yeah, and it's an incredible place now, and it provides such a safe space for people, and a lot of the work that is done there is all by people volunteering just to try and make this world a bit of a better place.
So yeah, it's a sanctuary.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, it's safe, it's peaceful. There's some animal life, there's some plant life, there's places where you can sit and be and reflect. There's
great views.
There's great views in the little whare tapu. You look straight out over the Mona there, and you see the cattle just browsing in the fields. And then there's a beautiful guest lodge, there's a gym cave, there's an art space, there's support rooms, but most of all it just feels really peaceful. So you arrive, the gate's closed, it's just, I'm safe here now. And amongst me are people who understand and get it.
So for your guests, are they people that are experiencing difficult times, or is it themselves, or is it for families of those experiencing it?
Yeah, both really. It's intended for whoever needs it.
Like some respite.
No, it's not a respite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite different from respite. So respite is intended to just, I think, allow you to step away. The retreat kaupapa is slightly different in that there's an intention around how do we change up the situation together. Not how do we change it up for you, we can't do that, but how with a peer support worker, we look at what's happening, the circumstances that you're going through, and so that at the end of this period, you return with some things changed, with some tools in your kit's. So often people say, oh, I want a bit of a respite stay, and we'll be like, well, it's not that.
So once we come through your gates, you walk beside us for as long as we need. It's not just for the stay. It's
that's absolutely right. Part of our process is, what do you want the tasks of this stay to be? What would you really love to have achieved by the time you leave again? And everybody comes up with a different set of tasks, of plans. A lot of it really literally is just, I'm exhausted, I'm so tired, so get some good sleep, but then there's that space for reflection and change. Yeah, very cool.
And so as far as like clients go, like you must have had some numbers through there now.
So again, there's not respite and there's not clients. We talk about guests, and it's a real kind of, there's that lived experience approach, which means that there's no sense of hierarchy. There's not people who are, above you in your well-being. It's very mutual. Through the gates of the retreat now, we've hosted thousands and thousands of guests from throughout the Motu who've come for those residential support stays.
Nationwide, right? Because this is the only thing of its kind in our country.
That's right.
Yeah.
So people come from throughout for those stays, sometimes travelling from Invercargill or Otago.
And do they
up
have to
north.
be referred, or can they contact direct? Like if someone's listening right now that is wanting to, investigate that for them or their loved ones, do they have to be referred, or how does it happen?
So it's we try and make it a real barrier-free process. You don't have to meet some kind of threshold. We know what it's not for, and that it's not for acute mental health support or acute physical health support. It's not for an acute need. It is for when there's a real clear benefit from stepping away from absolutely everything, closing the gate, switching off the cell phone, and focusing on your and your whānau well-being so that you can thrive and recover. So you can be referred through a GP or a counsellor or your workplace. Workplaces often do that. And sometimes that'll happen as part of, it might start out as an employment process, and then the employer will go, actually, this is all about well-being, and why don't we talk to these guys? And we'll go, yeah, awesome, thank you.
Isn't that so good that the narrative has got to the point where employers will notice things like that? And
I think it's incredible. It's such a change. It's such a real...
It's really inspiring.
All of those situations, if you've been in them, you know how terrible they are for everybody. And there's a real shift there where we're starting to go, the situation's actually about well-being and health, and actually what's needed here is some real solid help for this person to be able to get through, and their whānau too. So workplaces might refer your mate, your neighbour, your boss, yourself.
So you can self-refer to.
Oh yeah, totally. And about half of those who get in touch do exactly that. They'll reach out saying,
help.
Enough.
Yeah. So how have you and your team navigated challenges? Because there's a whole journey here that we're trying to sum up into a 30-minute podcast. But moving, growing, adapting, that sort of thing. How have you sort of navigated those?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. The model, support model is intended to constantly evolve and change. So in every support case, we'll intentionally review and go, so what did we learn from this? Both because we want to spot trends and patterns and push that up the chain to organisations like the Ministry of Health and say, hey, look, these are trends that we're seeing. And we have a bit of a unique eye because we'll really go into depth with people about what's happening. So there's some accountability there on us to say, what are we seeing, what's changing, what's different in 2020 to what it was in 2018 and now in 2025. So there's a constant evolution of how the model works, and then kind of secondly, there are clear points where we go, we're going to taihoa and review what we're seeing. And one of those real key points was when we hit our 2000th support engagement, and then we said, right, this is a moment for us to really do some analysis. And then we spotted at that point when we really looked into each situation in depth, just the predominance of trauma in so many situations. It was trauma in all different styles and presentations, but in over 90% of situations it was there.
Trauma related.
Totally. So that's when we thought, we really need to factor that very intensely into how the organisation offers. And at that point, the retreat had become quite a busy hub. It was amazing. It was cool. It was a bit of a community. People would rock up all the time. It was buzzing. But we realised that wasn't totally cool for that trauma-informed concept that said, this is a sanctuary.
Yes.
Gates closed. You're safe. There's not a whole bunch of new people coming in today who you won't know, who might look at you.
Right.
And then we thought, well, there's got to be a landing place for this where you can touch down today and talk to someone. And this piece needs to be for, more of a planned stay situation. So then we looked at setting up a satellite, a support hub.
And there was born Waimanako.
There was born Waimanako.
The Hope Centre, in the Metro Plaza. And so you thrived there, and it was a great situation where it was like a kuha cafe and people could pay as they felt, and it was a drop-in and people could ask for a listening ear, and it created such a space in the CBD for the community. Fast forward, you had to move out of Waimanako.
We did.
So where have we gone to now? What are we doing now?
So that space it's been an amazing place right over the Oa there of the Huatoki that's being opened up now as part of the plan for the CBD. Over 2025, then we looked at where we would land next.
Because you always knew that it was not going to be forever. Like eventually,
Aye. It was a real cool use of an empty space.
Yeah.
Like it was such a win-win. And kudos to New Plymouth District Council who went, there's something cool that we can do here with the space that's not used.
Yeah.
And it was a bit eerie and dark and scary down there. And we brought some real cool life down there and painted it up. And like over 100,000 people have walked through that corridor and into that cafe since over the 4 years, which is quite mind-blowing.
Must be about 21, 22 that it opened, was it?
It was. I remember that day very well. In fact, I served you a terrible coffee at that occasion because I'd
Just bowl of beans.
that was a later breakfast occasion. But that was December 2021. So there were 4 years of operating from there, half a year of kind of setting it up and retooling for it, setting up the model, painting it. And then so November 2025, it was time to relocate to our new home, which is at the Tasman Club. Beautiful view over the sea. Just the most amazing location where the support hub is has now been established. Absolutely awesome place, and a lot of community already happening from there, which is part of our kaupapa, connecting with other organisations and supports. We don't like siloed working, or we really want organisations to connect up and support, and there may be many factors involved like budget, employment. It might be to do with housing. It could be about addictions. It could be workplace stress. It could be about whānau wellbeing. Anxiety is often a big piece of the story. It could be grief and loss is often a part of what will be causing us distress. Any number of factors, and a lot of those involve other agencies around housing where they're the experts. That's not our bag, but we know the angels who work in that space. Over the Taranaki region, there's over 50 different amazing providers who are all doing their piece. It's an incredible region.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
We are so lucky, and we maintain a directory of all those support organisations and how you get them across the threshold and what they do. And so a lot of our work, when someone walks in and says, I'd like someone to talk to today, we'll look at the whole picture and say, right, how about we talk to budget services today?
Yeah, right.
How about we have a chat with your boss and talk about how we can go through this?
So it's not just a chance to offload your problems or the what you're dealing with. It's in the listening ears, like, okay, well, thanks for sharing. See you later.
Yeah, no.
It's about, well, okay, how can we help you? And
it's definitely about
I'll wrap around.
What does this look like tomorrow or later today when you get home and next week? And so there's a key cornerstone there around how do we make things better so that actually life becomes not only manageable but a thriving space. So often that might involve therapy. It could be coaching. There's a big coaching component. It could be all kinds of support groups and workshops, something creative. There's a lovely watercolour art group, for example, that meets regularly with an amazing facilitator, and people are healing through doing that artwork.
Brilliant.
Absolutely awesome. Or it might be like a program of workshops which are helping to build your confidence and being able to venture out again and begin to build up social connection.
It's so special. But you're right in the trenches. Like you see and hear and experience a lot. So how do you cope with that? Like, what's your coping mechanisms?
Yeah, good call. I think that's so key for a peer support environment as well, because often people will be working based on their own lived experience and their journey. So keeping our team safely operating is part of my role, and that involves really good support and supervision and listening ears available for the team as well. That supervision piece where we're reflecting always on our practice, making sure that we're not carrying the burdens of other people. We can't help that to a degree because we're all human, and personally, I'm emotionally involved a lot of the time, and I think that would probably always be the case. I have a lovely, amazing partner who also works for the organisation and co-founded it. she's an incredible support to me, Susie. And then we're big dog lovers, and the daily routine involves the walk with the dogs, let it all go, be out there in the rain or the sunshine, let it fall from your body, reflect and free up your mind, and just be there in that natural environment, which helps you to reground on earth. Crucial every day.
So
I think you need to do that. Otherwise, connection with so much suffering, we would really begin to impact you after a while, and you have to change that focus onto all the hope piece, of which there is so much. There's always so much hope.
And is that what keeps you motivated? Is the hope?
And the incredible nature of this community, this region. It's something amazing about its people. There's such a will for the community to grow and thrive and heal. I've never been in a place quite like it, where there's just this constant sense of, we want to make this better, we want to work together, it's lovely what you're doing, how can we help? And that's businesses, it's individuals, it's the person who makes the muffins, right down to the business who says, we'll look after this, or we'll sponsor that, or we'll get on board with this. It's everybody doing their piece, and it really matters that
we live in such a special place, you know, and that shines through with how much people give. Yeah.
Well, you know this.
Yeah. We used to do breakfast shows for 12 hours to raise funds for the retreat. But I mean, I think probably we did 2 of them, and maybe almost $1,000 all up between the 2 of them. So and that was the buy-in from the community of knowing
that's
how
almost $100,000.
Yeah, that's
not just $1,000.
100,000 between the 2 shows. And we saw time and time again that, but I think it's because of this waka that you and Susie are in charge of or created. So many more people have jumped on board because you've opened up the conversations and you know, and created a safe space for people. So what does hope mean to you, like personally?
Wow, what a question. For me, I've got this huge, big social justice, driver in the work that I do. And I just see there's so much that tracks back here to how we decolonialise our situation, which is probably an unexpected turn for the kōrero. But I just see how much of that brokenness in our history is still present in each support situation, and how we need to get to the root of healing, where there's brokenness between us as treaty partners, speaking as tangata tiriti. I'm in that piece, and the engagement with tangata whenua about how we heal our story into tomorrow. I think where I see the shoots of that really emerging in our community, that's where the hope is, where I see us looking into fundamentally who we are as a people, as a nation, unique and wonderful, and with this incredible Indigenous story that's part of who we are, unique and perfect and amazing, and how we're beginning to rediscover how beautiful that is. And I see shoots and signs of that all over the place, and that really fires up.
That's what hope means to you.
Yeah, it does, where we are getting to the real root of issues. Otherwise, we just are always just putting out fires. So I see people really rebuilding on that and growing together, and so much grace in that. That's a real massive source of hope.
Keeps you going.
Aye.
Yeah. So do you do you forward plan, do you have an image of the future for retreat in Waimanako and say the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. It's a real dynamic thing, and because the issues that confront us today in 2025,
right?
they're so different from the issues of 2020. That was only 5 years ago. It's an entirely different world. And so it's real hard to call, to be honest, what the priorities will be next year or the year after. So there's a lot of, this is an idea which needs to happen quite soon and quite rapidly. Like, we've just launched this really cool food truck, Waimanako. It's been given this lovely, beautiful name of bringing that manaaki, that care to the community. And that's taking real lovely home-cooked hot kai to different locations, and just offering people a place where you can land and get a free feed.
For those living rough or just
Nice,
anybody?
but it might be just that the circumstances at home are such that the pantry's empty, or
Sure.
you're just too, you can't face cooking tonight, and you've got 5 hungry children,
Yeah.
you're exhausted.
Treating water.
Treating water, or your back is so sore you can't cook
Gotcha.
tonight,
Yeah,
or
so
whatever the
it's-
situation. Or you might be sleeping rough and have nothing available to eat this evening that's hot. So working with other organisations and meshing in with those, the food trucks are, I think, a real exciting concept in the mix.
So before we wrap up, Jamie, I think because we have sort of touched on some subjects that could hit a couple of nerves for people. So my first question is for listeners who might be struggling right now.
Yeah.
What words would you offer?
If things are tough for you right now, I think the most important thing is to know that there legitimately are people who care really deeply and will move mountains to make change possible with you. And gosh, sometimes the hardest thing of all is to do that reaching out piece. And we know that when we're really feeling down, just saying, a little bit of help here is so difficult. So my suggestion, if that's you right now, would be talk to someone who's close to you, who might offer you in that reaching out process. There will be someone. If it's too hard basket for you to hop on to the website and put through a form or give us a call, then talk to your friend, talk to your neighbour, talk to your boss or someone at work and say, hey, could you be alongside me in this? Because I just haven't got it in me to do it right now. Get someone to do that squeaky wheel thing and get things moving with you. And just know that there's this whole community who are actually poised, ready to jump in and will welcome you. And that's the listening ears, kaupapa at the Tasman Club Waimanako. You can arrive today. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to book in. You can arrive and suss out the place and just order some chips and a nice panini and figure it out. And if you feel safe, then just say, hey, could I have someone to talk to today? Yep, sweet, here it is.
Great.
There's no issues there. It's not,
No judgment.
you won't feel like, this is awkward. It's just as natural as, because it should be that natural, right?
100%, yeah. And just to point out, as far as locations, when we talk about the Tasman Bowling Club, we mean the bowling club by Pig Out Point.
Yep.
Because that's where everyone knows it. So it's that
to
one.
that.
Yeah. So, Jamie, I guess that does come down to wrapping it up. And so we can walk into Tasman Bowling Club anytime we like or when you're open. What are our opening hours?
So constant figuring out what works best. So at the moment we've set those hours for Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. You can rock up from 9 till 4. Wednesdays you can rock up from 1 till 7.
Okay.
So we're just going to see how that rolls until Christmas and then rework it again next year according to what works for people.
Awesome. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll put some links down the bottom of this podcast. So a link to the Taranaki Retreat,
Awesome.
A link to the information about your new Waimanako Centre. And Jamie, I mean, I always love spending time with you. And,
Same.
And I know we've said it before, but thank you for what you do for our community, for our people, for the entire country sometimes. The retreat's like the last stop for them. So we really appreciate you. Ngā mihi nui. Yeah.
Right back at you, Anna. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. I know this was a bit of a different podcast this time, but those links are there should you need some support, and we'll catch you next time. Ka kite anō.
Ka kite.